Good morning. Good morning. Hey, sorry about that double sound. Switch the sound off now. Hey, passenger. Lurib Orbi. Good morning. Right, so I'm gonna do line art today. I felt like it was really fun to do some weird line art. And whatever the topic is today, it's gonna be fun to explore. There was a lot of people liked the drawing yesterday, so that's interesting. They like the oddness, I think. Some weird crow thing. Hey, Sayart and Kuru, good morning. Welcome. Morning stretch. Oh yeah. It's Friday. Fantastical Friday. All right. How about some topics? Let's get it rolling. Or maybe we should wait one more minute so it's fair for everyone. Because it's not really 10 past yet. But it's now. It is now 10 past. So, all right. Let's go. Let's see if the dice works. Oof, the dice works. All right. Thanks to Art by a Bear, the latest follower. Thank you very much. And Lady Immortal. Thank you very much. Amelith also. Amelith actually, she started following, and we knew each other from concept art days. But I don't recognize the nickname, the Amelith. I think she had some other nickname, but I recognize her, which is cool. She streams as well. Good morning, Captain Jetlag and Natsuki. Rock stars. Okay, throw me some topics. Let's get it on. Let's get it on. Have you heard Jack Black sing that song? It's hilarious. He sings it crazy good as well. Hey, Team H Lava, thanks for the host. That's fantastic. All right. I'm doing for work, doing monster designs. It's kind of fun, painterly, and also for another client. It's so interesting to see the like polar opposites of what you gotta do at work. It's so challenging all the time. Hey, Novi Art, thanks for the host. All right, I think we got topics. Let's roll the dice. Obviously, it's gonna be number 4. It's gonna be rigged. Oh, number 2 today, which is number 1 is Robo Dancer. Number 2 is New Skin. Ooh, by Atsuki. It's gonna be Chuck Norris with Cobra Hands. That's a fantastic. Captain Jetlag. Yeah, I guess 2 times 2, but where's 2? You know, the second 2. Where does that come from? Anyways, let's start the timer and start doing New Skin. Why? Why isn't the timer showing? What the? 1 second. What's happening here? Oh, it's because I didn't click the button. To you? Yeah. All right, let's do horizontal today. And something new skin. Right. So what I saw instantly now that I flipped it, it became like this android snake woman thing kind of shedding parts of her body, but it's not in a scary way, but kind of, I want to, I saw it like voluptuously or seductively almost. That's what I saw when I flipped the canvas and thought about new skin. Like she's shedding in a way. Um, well, we'll see where that leads. I'm just gonna, like yesterday, have fun with the lines and see what comes out. Hey, good morning, Zabi. Thanks, Master 7777 for the auto host. Thomas, hey, good morning. You're back. Lurib, good morning. How's it go? Oh, yeah. All right. Let's do dirty line art. Let's just draw stuff and see what comes out. So I was thinking today about what topic to draw. Hey, no, not draw. To talk about. And I recently I read about in that in science they have figured out how to rejuvenate the aging process of hey, thanks Lurib for the donation. Oh man, you so kind, so kind. Yeah, so I was thinking about today. Like they've figured out how to reverse aging in mice now. So they it was something about like the cell, the rate of dying, and um, they kind of rejuvenate the cells to the rate of reversing aging, which is kind of cool. Um, you know, and they say that within 5-10 years, most likely it will be at a stage for human trials, which is even more interesting. Which kind of made me think about two things. Hey, Jordy, good morning. So it made me think about two things. The first thing was, now that thought disappeared in my head. What did I think about? I remember one thing. Yeah, that they say that already the first 200-year-old human has been born, right? So that they say that, yeah, like that already there's the first person that's going to be 200 years. Theoretically, that person has already been born. Obviously, they're not 200 yet because, you know, time hasn't passed enough for them to reach 200. But yeah. And the second one that came to my mind was, so let's say that let's say that we that in 10-20 years they come up with a medicine that reverses aging, right? So in these mice that they did tests on, the old mouse that they did as a test with the younger ones, you know, the old mouse started looking like the younger, you know, so it actually reversed aging. Um, so let's say that in 20 years they have um, medicine that will allow you to live at least, let's say, at least 200 years, if not 300 years. That thought alone is a crazy thought, right? It's super weird, like what, I can live 300 years. But one thought I have, oh man, I'm saying the word thought a lot today. Uh, Anyways, one thought I had a long time ago, which was kind of like a philosophical thought, was that if you could live forever, would you change the way you spent your days? Or because if you knew that you could live forever, um, but you could die, of illness or sickness or whatever. I mean, do you think life and how we live it would drastically change if we knew that, for example, let's say that humans can create a lifespan of 1,000 years. Would you still do what you do? Would you still be driven? Would you be lazy, like Captain Jetlag says? But I mean, imagine the dedication you'd have that a lot of artists spend in their lifetime, which is their lifetime is, let's say, the full lifespan is 80 years, right? But you're not here as an adult for that uh, amount of time, right? You're here as an adult or a thinking person, fully thinking person, to the extent of like how I feel now compared to how I felt like a 15-year-old or 18-year-old. Obviously, I'm not the same person, um, and all that, you know. So that, let's say we're here as a fully grown, evolved, conscious person to some degree. I mean, I'm not saying I'm done evolving or I'm complete as a person, but compared to how I was as younger, it's day and night, right? So let's say we have 50, 60 years of um, fully uh, here, right? It's easy to say that a child is here. Obviously, they're alive, they're thinking, they're feeling, but to what degree, etc. So, anyways, weird topic came off tangent, but let's continue. So, would you eat differently? Would you exercise? What would you do differently? I think if I knew I would live for 1,000 years, I would definitely change my life. I would know that I would take way more care for myself. You know, imagine you like easily die of a heart attack, right? Would you start moving more? Would you start exercising more? Would you care more about what you put in your system? I think I think a lot of people would, right? Because for me, it feels a little bit like a lot of people think about their life as a burning candle. It doesn't matter. Like, it's the span is so short. It's okay. Why bother? Like, enjoy life. It's so short, etc., etc. I think that there's definitely a lot of people who have that mentality of, like, screw it. Yeah, I think. I mean, it's a crazy thing to think about, right? And it does reflect a lot on how we as people act now. Do you think there would be murderers if we all lived 1,000 years? Would there be poverty? You know, I always start thinking about those things, like how we are acting, and would people love more, or would people just go away and hide, or what? How would society look like if we knew that we lived forever, or for 1,000 years is pretty much forever, but that sickness can kill us? Would we all go around in plastic bubbles? Yeah, dear bird. I think a lot of people would be definitely cautious. Orby, yeah, definitely. I mean, um, that would definitely, if that wasn't, uh, the live forever aspect wasn't for everyone. If it was just a selected few, that would be definitely cause for war. I mean, would there be war? That's another topic, like the death of a human then, if they could live 1,000 years, and as a fully grown adult at 30 only, you lose your life, or as a 20-year-old, as an 18-year-old, like a lot of soldiers are. They're just babies, more or less. You know, how would we treat war? I think that's such a I love the idea of thinking in those kind of ways. Passenger, I don't know if we would stop evolving. I mean, we are just having a longer time thinking. I mean, we everyone is going to get old. Everyone's going to die eventually of burning out. There's the physiology or the decay of I don't know what. Well, I don't know in this hypothetical situation, but cell implosion. It's like running the engine too hot for too long. Just eventually you just explode. Imagine if that would be like around 1,000 year lifespan. You're like looking young and healthy, but everyone knows that they call it the pop or something. Just oh no, look at Jeff. His year 999, and he's like boiling up and just gonna become like the blueberry kid in Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. Just just floats away into the sky and as a weird guy just kind of anchors himself into the ground, don't want to fly away because then he just pops like a paintball pellet. But sometimes my brain just goes on a tangent completely. Yeah, I think the world will definitely be completely different. Sayart. No, the idea is I want her to be. Um, I think her arms are too long. That's the problem. My idea was to have her kind of propped up, but the pose wasn't good enough. I think I just shot the arms out too far. Dear bird, yeah, definitely. I mean, the saying is like magic is just science we don't understand, right? I mean, a lot of magic back in the days were alchemy and chemistry and uh, herbal treatments and all these things. It wasn't magic. It was just ignorance of the masses that that don't understand what's happening. But it wasn't any magic to it. It was just knowledge that most people didn't understand. And I think that is through history what magic is. It's just we don't understand how it works, so we just say it's magic. Passenger. I don't know if that is a true statement that we are better because we have a shorter life. I think there's definitely the idea that because we have a short life, we have intent. Um, I think Neil deGrasse Tyson said a really cool thing about uh, eternity and humans lifespan and death and so on. There's a really nice clip about it on internet, but he more or less said the fact that we are dying gives us purpose and drive, which in a way it makes sense. I can see that making sense, that's the only reason why a lot of people do things at the rate they're doing it, and the passion they're doing it is because they know that at one time life is going to end, and they want to be as good as they can until that day comes. That's fair. I can definitely see that in in being a good reason why death is has a purpose and why we act the way we do. But I think a lot of people live an unhealthy life, and they don't care about their life in the same extent that if they would live for 1,000 years, how would they treat their body and how would they um, act? You know, I think there's too many people who don't uh, care for others and care for themselves. I think there's too many who just says F it. And I mean, murderers, people that uh, go to war. Obviously, there's no respect for the living. Orbi. Well, I don't know about that, about the mind not being designed to stay that long. I mean, dementia, etc., is a chemical. As it's about chemical imbalance. It's not about the. Probably there is some sort of. I mean, obviously there is a deterioration of cells and energy because you grow older and the body stops generating more cells than dies off, and you just slowly, slowly, slowly die. Um, as it is now. So obviously, because we get old, is because the body doesn't rejuvenate anymore, and that is the cause why we're dying. But if that wouldn't exist, if we could find a medicine or gene therapy or whatever that would change the rate of death, our mind as is, the chemical factory, the host, the core of the machine. As long as the machine is running, I wouldn't see that there is any reason why we would not get smarter, we would not understand more each year. I mean, obviously, we can't know everything, but I think definitely there's scope to become wiser and clearer in your mind if you would live for 1,000 years. Lou Rib and Captain Jetlag. Yeah, exactly. How much? How many of us would actually enjoy it? You know. There, but yeah, exactly. We don't know how it is to have a 1,000 year lifespan. You know, we only measure our existence by how long we live and what we can perform during that lifespan, right? But what if time isn't a factor? Like 1,000 years is definitely going to feel like a long time, and time itself then won't matter as much. It's more of what you do or how you treat people, or you know, would you stand in a factory and stand at the machine? Would you really do that if you knew that, I don't need this? Would there be universal um, salary? Do you get paid just to get paid? So you don't need to work. You don't need to waste time just standing. Would there wouldn't be the saying waste time? I'm wasting time here. It would be I'm wasting opportunity, maybe. I don't know. It's an interesting topic, and I really enjoy the philosophical aspect of it. Like how would it be, and how would society look like? And obviously, if we found the medicine tomorrow, oh, you can live for 1,000 years. Is this generations and all the generations living are gonna be all messed up? But the generations after that, when it's a clear given, like internet today, anyone born since 2000, internet is a given. That tiny little thing, they don't know a world without internet, right? When I was a kid, there was a world without internet and TV, or cable TV rather, color TV, etc. But for now, it's like, pff, oh, the world looks like this, right? But it's not. It's not a given. It's just how people are born into it. So I think if I could live forever, I would definitely act differently than my kids that would be born in a world where everyone lives forever. They wouldn't know any different. And it's the same kind of idea, gonna be an off tangent idea here, but it's the same. Like a lot of people complain about uh, feminism and so on. Uh, but the thing is, the people making calls, making decisions, like they're old. It has to be a generational shift. The old guard needs to give up and go home or retire. And then the person that's going to replace them is still going to be a generation off, right? So only when the people who are asking for equality, etc., when they're old, they are going to be in a position of power. And only then will there be a change. But that change is going to be an old change because there's going to be new generations asking for another point of view, right? It's just this generational difference that people forget about. They're screaming about all these things. Yeah, I don't know. Change is good, definitely. Don't get me wrong, but you have to ask what people are capable of, because we're a product of society. We're a product of our lives. Dear Bard, yeah, definitely. But the difference would be after generations. Like we wouldn't be able to be the Puritan human that this knowledge or option would give us, right? We would we would still be. I mean, I'm born 1980, and my way of living, my way of thinking, just because I would live 1,000 years, at least for 100 years, for 200 years, I would definitely be a product of my upbringing. I mean, I know already what I like, how I think, um, what I like to eat is all a product of my life, right? And I can never escape that until long time time have passed enough where my oh shit, my thought process, oh no, have gone for long enough for me to change and adapt new ways of thinking, right? But just look how habits are so hard to kill. But with time, of course, and patience, and society would change. But it's just going to be that old guard again. It's just going to be that old style of thinking until long enough time passes where you're not thinking that way anymore, and it's going to be tricky. If you know that, I mean, it's not if anymore. It's not if we can live longer. The science have found a potential uh, medicine that will prolong life significantly. So it's a matter of when, not if. But yeah, it's I think things would be very different. And I was thinking about that. I was thinking about that this morning. Like, if there would be a, if they would release a medicine like in a year, but oh, this is the life prolonging medicine. Like you can live significantly longer by reversing your aging process. And obviously, that is a massive thing to do to your body. It's a huge change. And as a parent, I would be, I mean, really, really contemplating, is it okay to do? Can I do it? Should I do it? What if I explode or die a horrible death in a year? You know, do I need to spend 10 more years setting everything up so that if I take the medicine and die, my family is not left alone and without help? You know, I was thinking about that and playing with the idea, like, would I? Should I? It's a crazy thing to think about. And it's not just an egoistical thing, especially when you're a parent. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting thought. A thought definitely worth playing with, because the time will come when you can take that treatment and prolong your life. It's not if, it's when, which is crazy. So when that treatment comes, this is a crazy world we're living in. Crazy future. Or would you be happy just, or nah, I'm gonna be a 100-year human, 80-year human. I don't want to live longer. Would you do that? You know what? How many would of us would just go, nah, not for me? I don't know. I think there would be a lot of people who just said, nah, everyone is dead. My family, none of my family live anymore. You know, would you spend 1,000 years in misery? I don't know. Time's up. I just need to. I wanna just do these. Give her some red hair. Probably should give her more accents and so on, but I don't have time for it. The stream will end as soon as I'm done with the hair. So while I'm doing this, I might as well do the babbling. Thanks everyone for coming. Thank you all for coming and hanging out with me and playing with the philosophical idea of living forever. I love everyone's comments. It's really intriguing to read and think about and listen to your point of views. I might stream tomorrow. I don't know yet. It's a potential thing I might do, depending on how my wife, what my wife wants to do, and so on. But yeah, thanks everyone for coming. Have a great day, evening, wherever you are. Anyways, thanks everyone for coming. Man, it's such a fun thing, these warm-ups and hanging out with you. See you tomorrow.